Hey guys, it's Karalynn. Welcome back to the podcast. And today we're going to talk about bogus back charges. And this is mostly in the commercial construction realm, right? And the reason why I want to talk about this is that I've had this happen several times in the last couple of months to some of my commercial contractors. And it's very scary and concerning to me. So I want to talk to you about it. Okay. So what I've been seeing happen is towards the end of the project, you'll get a list of back charges from the general contractor, and it may or may not be substantial, right? And they're sending you these back charges. They're deducting the amount that you're owed from these back charges, right? Say you're owed $100,000. They have saying you have $50,000 in back charges. So without your approval, they're just deducting $50,000, right? They say, here's a list of things that you did wrong or delay damages or something that's going to reduce the amount that you're owed, right? And so I want to give you some tools and ideas that you don't just have to accept these back charges, right? You can question things and get the real information, right? And so one of the main things to understand in contract law, right, is that if someone's going to sue you for breach of contract or someone, saying that you did bad work, there has got to be damages, right? And damages are replacement cost, replacement contractors, amounts that were actually paid for delay damages, actual physical things that, they could prove that were extra cost to them, right? So if you have a back charge where, you accidentally drove a forklift through a wall and they have to pay a replacement contractor to repair this wall for $5,000, they're going to have the invoice for the replacement for the guy that fixed it and a check where they paid him, right? Those are actual damages that something that you did caused, right? And that would be a valid back charge. So what I'm seeing is towards the end of the job, they list you the list of back charges. They don't really give you a whole lot of explanation besides a dollar amount. And so in the things that I've been going through recently, I'm like, okay, here's a list of back charges. One particular client, it was about a $300,000 back charge. And the claim was that my client delayed the project. And so this other subcontractor had to work overtime and pay all these extra man hours to keep up with the schedule, right? And so this other sub was on the job too, doing other work, a different scope. And the claim was that our delay pushed them back, and we had this general contractor had to pay them $300,000 in overtime bills, extra hotel bills and all this for the extra time that I had to put in to get the project up to speed. Okay. All right. That's fine. Let me see the proof of payment, right? You've sent me these invoices. Let me see the proof of payment. They send me a lien waiver signed by the subcontractor that had to put in all this extra time for $284,000, which is cool and all, but the subcontractor had his own subcontract. So how do I know that it's not a payment under the subcontract? So I'm like, okay, send me the subcontract, all of the pay applications and proof of payments. So after months and months of pulling this information out of them, I finally get the subcontract, the pay apps, but I can't get a proof of payment. I can't get proof. I can get lien waivers that were signed at the same time that the pay apps were submitted, but I can't get canceled checks, proof of wires where this sub was actually paid the extra $300,000 they're trying to back charge my client for. And I push and I push and I push. And we file a lien because we haven't been paid. And still they won't give me the proof of payment. And they, under the contract, we got to go mediate before we can file suit to enforce lien and for breach of contract. I'm like, okay, I'll go to mediation, but give me this stuff first, because if you can't prove that you actually paid this extra money, you don't have any damages and you're not entitled to back charge me, right? So pushing and pushing and pushing. I mean, it's a big commercial GC. Finally, they're like, oh, turns out it looks like we owe you $300,000. What? This process took 6 or 7 months. of me trying to drag this out of them to say, hey, you can't just decide you want to charge me that, what you're saying is that it could have cost you $300,000, but it didn't actually, because you didn't actually pay somebody for that, right? So it can only be a valid back charge if it was actually paid. And so when you get the list of back charges, say, okay, please give me the invoices and proof of payment for, okay, so like you had to hire extra manpower to cover, I didn't have enough guys out there. Okay, who did you hire and how did you pay them, right? If this is a valid thing that happened, it should be no problem to show you that this is what I actually did, right? Or if you damaged something, or they had to replace something that you broke, there, it should be very easy to prove. When you push back and you ask for this stuff and they don't give it, this is where we run into a problem that it's not actually a valid back charge. They can't just say, I think it's going to cost me, or it could have cost me this, but it didn't actually, right? I just had a contractor that was trying to get back charge for delay damages because there was a month in time that he couldn't work on the project because he let his electrical license lapse, right? Yes, that is something that if there were delay damages assessed, my client would have been responsible for. But my response when they tried to issue him back chargers, what did it cost you extra for the month that my client wasn't able to work? Did the owner issue you delay damages for that? If the owner had charged you delay damages for that period of time, show it to me. Then it's definitely a valid back charge and I don't have any choice, right? But I think what is happening, in my opinion, is that these PMs are getting to the end of the job and they're just trying to see what you'll take, right? See what you'll take off the amount that you're owed. So they're throwing in these back charges saying, yeah, this could have happened. And so I'm just going to put a dollar amount on it, not realizing that legally, if you want to assess damages against me, you have to prove that you actually had those damages, right? That's a basic contract rule, is that if you want to recover money from me for something that I did, show me how it damaged you, right? Where is the dollar amount? Where is the proof of payment? Especially when we get into delay damages, because that's one's really easy. They can just put $10,000 delay damages because you were behind schedule, right? Okay, even if you were behind schedule, which happens, right? Show me where the owner charged you delay damages, right? The damages have to actually be incurred before they can pass them on to you. Show me where the owner charged you $10,000 in damages, delay damages for this point in time. If it really happened, if it's something that the general contractor actually had to pay to the owner or was deducted from the amount that the owner owed them, it should be very easy to give you that paperwork, right? As opposed to just writing a letter or putting in the list of back charges, $10,000 to replace parts you broke. Okay. Show me where you bought the new parts and how you paid for it. Because that's the other thing too,